Um, Hi everyone. This is Maria Campos from Campos Capital Group here with Kent today. I am subbing for Danny. Danny usually does it with Kent, but this time around, Danny had something to do, so I'm filling in. I'm Maria. How are you, Ken?
Good, I'm very good. Welcome to the show. It's been a while. I think the last time you were on was Valentine's Day. Was the last time you? I could be wrong with that, but I think that's the last time you hosted. So thanks for filling in for Danny. He appreciates it, and I appreciate it. So thank you so much. I haven't seen you in a while, ever since you were in the kitchen. So
For those who don't know, we are married and we work in the same company in
yep,
the Charlotte office.
yep. So thank you everybody for joining us. REI Happy Hour at 5. Sorry we're a little late. We had some technical difficulties, but we are on now and we are live. So really quickly, Maria, why don't you just tell a little bit about what you do with Campos?
So I'm the branch manager here at the Charlotte office. I'm a senior lending relationship manager, um, and I have a good team here in Charlotte. Kenneth is one of them. We have Caesar and we have Maddie. Love it here. We just moved here, so we're excited to be in Charlotte now. We were working remotely from Alexandria, Virginia at one point, but here we are. So excited. So that's what we do. We do loans, fix and flip, investor properties, anything from your typical fix and flip to your long-term rentals, ground ups, multi-units, townhouses, whatever type, condos, whatever it may be. So if anyone needs any assistance, you make sure you let us know. Either you can call Ken, you can call myself, or the other host, Danny, who's usually here. Or you can call anybody. You can call our main office, whatever it may be. So we lend in all 50 states.
Nice, nice.
Mm.
So, everybody, my name is Ken Board, and I am also a senior loan officer relationship manager with Campos Capital Group. And I welcome everybody here. I welcome the people that are on live, and I also welcome everybody that will be watching this once it's recorded. So we appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully you'll get some good information today. But before we do that and we introduce our guest, I want to do our favorite part of the show. It is REI Happy Hour at 5 for a reason. And we're going to talk about what we have for a cocktail today and what we're drinking. So, Maria, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking my favorite, which is a lemon twist martini. Okay, hold on a second. There you go.
Yeah, put it in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's delicious. Love it. Low on calories. It's perfect. It hits just right. And it makes me very, very happy. So cheers. What are you drinking?
Nice. So I'm drinking a Paloma, which is just tequila, lime juice, and grapefruit juice. I'm not a big tequila guy, but this is a refreshing drink. Not as citrusy as a margarita. I'm not really a big fan of margaritas just because to me they're just so citrusy and bitter to me. So this is a good substitute. So on a hot summer day down here in Charlotte, which is almost 100 degrees, it's been this way. Thank God, it feels like 2 weeks it's been steaming hot down here. So this is definitely refreshing. So
Looks
cheers.
refreshing to me. Cheers.
So cheers.
All right.
And I know because we had technical difficulties, we didn't really get to talk about. But really quick, you are attending. Well, I'm attending too. But why don't you talk about the event a little bit that we're having this Sunday that we're sponsoring?
Super excited about this event this Sunday. It's going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's a Spanish-speaking event geared to the Latin community. But if you speak Spanish and you want to learn more about how to get started on your investment properties and the lending side of it, or your primary home, it's going to be very educational. There's going to be someone that will talk about credit. We're going to have lots of realtors and a lawyer there as well that will be talking about the real estate part, the law part of the real estate. And there's going to be an amazing mortgage company there as well. So they'll be talking about how to get started with primary, your first purchases, or or your investment properties. So it's going to be amazing. It's great. A lot of people, they don't realize that they can get their mortgage. I mean, I'm sorry, they can buy their home and get a mortgage. So it's going to be amazing. We're super excited. In my community, I'm Latina. It's important to educate our people because sometimes they don't realize it or know the resources. So we're trying to do it. It's going to be a free event, 2 to 7, Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll post the link there. There's still some tickets available. So if you can show up and join us in Raleigh, North Carolina this Sunday from 2 to 7, please do so. We'll be happy to see you because Karen, you'll be there as well.
Yes.
Although you don't speak Spanish, you need to learn.
Yeah, you can still network, right? And I'm there to help out and represent Campos Capital Group. So I think it's going to be a really good event, and looking forward to it a lot. So that'd be awesome. All right, so let's get into business, right? Let's get right into it. We got a special guest today. Her name is Teresa Pasiak, and she is a attorney with MacLeod Title Company here. Well, not here, but she's up there in Virginia, Greater Washington area, so Maryland, Virginia, and all that. So we welcome her, and hopefully we can get her up here on the screen soon so we can ask her some great value questions. There she is. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
Teresa. How are you, Teresa? We can't hear you, Teresa.
You're on mute, I think.
Like, we still can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
We were able to hear you earlier.
Earlier, yeah. All right, technical difficulties.
We can't hear you. All right. Well, while we wait for Teresa, let's continue talking, Ken. So just so we know, Teresa's going to tell us a little bit about herself and what she does in her company. Super excited. I'll let her tell you about it. So I'm not going to talk too much about it, but we do know Teresa. She's in Alexandria and she's very knowledgeable, been in this business for a long time. So we are super honored and excited that she's here today. Can we hear you now, Teresa? So Teresa, what you may have to do is you may have to log out and come back in.
Yeah, let's try doing that.
Yep. So
while we're waiting, again, I don't want to get into the subject because I don't want to step on her toes with some of the questions and everything.
But I do want to say something about that. One of the reasons we're excited to have Teresa is the fact that Teresa is she's very knowledgeable. She's, her company's been around for a long time. I'll let her give all the details, but we as loan officers, we get asked a lot of questions. Why do I need title insurance? What's 1031 exchange? Why, like different type of questions. What happens if there's an error on title? Like, does that delay the process? What happens? Ground rent. We get a lot of that in Baltimore City. We get a lot of those issues. So we're excited to have her here to answer some of those questions that you may not know. So a lot of times when we go to closing, and it happened to Ken and I, we go to closing, the seller, when we were buying our property, the seller, before we knew too much about it, we didn't ask those questions. The seller was like, the seller at one of the houses we bought, the seller picked, the title company, and we didn't know, we didn't know anything about them. And sometimes it's important for you to do your homework and make sure that you can pick your title company. If you have a good relationship with a title company that will take care of you in your best interest, it's very good that that and you can literally interview title companies as a buyer. So, or even if you're selling your home and you need to pick one. So just think about that. I think it's very important. That part we didn't know. So, and when I'm getting questions, and Ken, you're probably the same thing. we'll always ask them one of the questions we say, what title company you want to use. A lot of times they're like, well, I don't know. What do you have recommendations? And, we do have recommendations based on the title companies we work with that have done an amazing job in the past. But sometimes I also want them to know those details because I'm not the professional in title. So we're super excited. Do you agree, Ken?
Oh, I completely agree, and I don't even want to answer any questions when it comes to that, because you don't want to be wrong or give out the wrong information. So it's always good to have a really good title partner on your side and in your network and on your team, to answer questions, to be there for you when you have your properties, but even just to be able to, like I said, answer questions. So to give them a call if you have a property, maybe they can help you out with some basic stuff even prior to purchasing the property. So it's good to have a title company and have a good relationship with someone in your back pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't we do, since we're waiting on Teresa while she comes? Oh, there she is. There she is. Can we hear you now?
Yes.
Yay!
Okay, we can hear you.
Hope so. Yay. Can you hear me?
You're frozen, but we can hear you.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yep. Uh-oh. I can hear you. Okay. That's why I love technology. It's the best thing ever, but it can just be a pain in the you-know-what.
It is the best thing ever. However, I can make sure that your loan closes. I'll structure your loan. I'll do everything, but don't ask me anything technology. That part I'm like.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Technology is not my friend.
Technology.
Maria, you know that because you're better than I am.
You're worse than me. It's scary. You know your thing, but when it comes to there's certain parts that you're like, wait, how do I do this? Especially with your phone. For sure.
I've got better with my phone. I think I'm worse with the computer, actually, for some reason. I think I've gotten pretty good with my phone. Let's see here.
Let's see. Maybe we can. Now we can't hear her. We apologize for this delay.
So
we
sorry.
Actually tested this out before we logged on. We got on, so I don't know what happened.
Do not know what happened.
Oh
no, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, we're trying to figure it out. Yep. We're trying to figure this out. So, Ken, tell me any success stories this week that you can share. Any examples you can share of some of the work we do while we wait for Teresa, so the viewers can, hear real life success stories.
Yeah. So I had a client that reached out to me actually at the end of last week. A new client, prospect, I guess you could call the gentleman, and he pretty much just contacted me off of Facebook. He found me on one of the investment groups in Charlotte here, or in North Carolina, and he pretty much said, "Hey, I need to do a short-term loan. I got to close by Friday. Is that something you could do?" The nice thing is, we were able to do it, right? So we're not closed yet. It did fall on us. It's kind of funny. There were some issues with the title of all things, right? So, so it kind of fits the theme of today. But we're already ready to close. We would have been ready today if there wasn't some errors on the actual title. But we will be ready to close by next week. So we should be good to go. But that's the one. The reason why I think it's a success story is, mattering where you are in the country. I mean, we could do fast. We can,
because you submitted that loan when? Like this week? It wasn't 3 days?
I submitted that loan last Friday.
Was it last Friday?
Yeah, and we were ready to close on Wednesday pretty much, but it unfortunately there were some title errors, and they have to work all that out before they could close. But I mean, that doesn't fall on the buyer, and that doesn't fall on us, right? That's That's on the seller, unfortunately. So we already got an addendum to extend the contract for close date, the commitment. So we're good. But I mean, it just shows you. I think the success is it just shows you how fast we can close. I'm not saying it can't happen all the time. It matters the scenario. It has to be the right scenario. You have to be in the right area that we can do something like that. But it is a success to know that we can help people out like that need to close quickly or might be in a bind.
Yep. I'm very happy that you were able to help your client. I know he needed a fast closing, and I'm glad that you were able to deliver that. Unfortunately, like you said, we didn't anticipate the title issues with, I guess one of the sellers is deceased, right? So I think that was the issue with this one.
As far as we know, yeah, I think that's an issue, but it's not something that's going to take too long. Thank God.
Good. That sounds very, very good. It's always, and I don't think people realize the passion that goes behind this. This is not a transaction for us. It's literally something like we like to do, and we want to make sure we deliver. If we tell you we're going to do it, we want to make sure that we do this. So if I tell you, like Ken, when you talk to him, you're like, I'll have this closed for you by Wednesday of this week. You know, you were ready. You knew, you looked at the deal, you knew you could do it, and you delivered. But so that's good. We definitely like to keep our promises. Sometimes things happen, but as everybody in the real estate business know, but definitely like to keep our promises. So I'm very proud of you. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyway, so, you know, I apologize to everyone watching. I know we're having technical difficulties. It's part of life, right? Sometimes we got to pivot. Hopefully we can get Teresa on here soon and up and running. For some reason, if we can't, you know, we're just going to have to move forward and bring her on at another time. But we will see. We're still trying to get her on here to share some of her knowledge and experience. So you guys can value this stream and get some good information out of it. So
can you guys hear me?
Hi.
I can hear you.
Okay. Hey, how are you? I have Teresa on my cell phone, which is right next to my computer microphone. So if it's audible, go ahead and talk, Teresa, see if they can hear you.
Hi, Maria. Hi, Ken. How are you?
How are you? Well, Sean, introduce yourself and tell us how you know Teresa. So, you know, I want people to know who you are too.
Okay, just to give a quick, and I'll just turn it over to Teresa after that. I'm a 25-year commercial banker. Recently got out of that, started doing loan brokerage. I've known Teresa for several years, had interactions with her when I worked for SunTrust before one of their mergers, and then even after that on some other deals. So I can attest to her expertise. She knows how to handle the complicated stuff. And through Teresa, I actually found out about you guys on the deal that we're working on, which so far is going very well. So thanks for that, and thanks to Teresa. But I'll turn it over to her.
You're our new partner. We're excited to have you too.
New partner. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love the way you guys work so far, so I'm excited. So thanks for that.
Awesome,
we're excited for the partnership too.
All right. Hopefully you can hear her okay.
Yeah, I think we can.
Thank you, Sean, for coming to my rescue on this.
Sure.
I was trying to tell Maria and Ken that it's 5 o'clock somewhere except in my office.
That's
Very
right.
true.
5 o'clock somewhere.
If I had my, if it was a perfect Friday, I would be sitting here with a gin and tonic, which you of course cannot see, with lime. So,
Ooh, that's
like,
a good drink.
Ken and I were saying, my name is Teresa Pasiak. I have a title company called MacLeod Title and Escrow. It's an independent title company. We underwrite through Chicago Title Insurance, and I've been in business going on 24 years. We handle closings in Virginia, Maryland, DC, and also title insurance in Delaware. And I have known Ken and worked with him over the years, and I think that they have a great operation over at Campos Capital Group. So I'm very excited to be here, and I'm sorry that I can't see everybody.
No, I appreciate it. Sometimes we got to improvise. We're definitely improvising today.
Definitely. And bless Sean for helping us with this. So thank you so much. So anyway, so Teresa, I know you mentioned a little bit. You said how long have you been in the business?
I've had my own title company for 24 years.
24 years. For those that can't hear her too well, she's been in title for 24 years, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's women owned, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So yeah, well, that's what I read, and which I love. We gotta support our ladies. So I'm super, super excited. So thank you for coming on board. We're definitely very honored. So yeah, so let's get some questions started, Ken. So you want to start with your first question?
Yeah. So she already. My first question was going to be where does she where is she due? What license? What states does she licensed in? She already explained that. So I'm going to jump.
What she said? What? Can you repeat it? Because I know the
audio. She can do title and and escrow in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. Is where she can use her services. So if all the clients that we have out there that are listening, if you're in Virginia, DC, or Maryland, definitely look into Teresa and her attorney and her firm and everything, and see what she could do for you. We will always recommend her if you do not have anybody to use. We can get her contact information to you. We'll also put her contact information up on our chat so everyone can see it, with her phone number and email and the name of the company. So you'll be able to have that, so you can write it down, note it, and all that. So let me get right into a question though, and then Maria, you can ask yours. This is a basic question, but there's a lot of newbies out there sometimes that are watching. So Teresa, why don't you just explain to us, why does someone need title insurance?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think people don't really give it enough thought. Title insurance is very important in any kind of transaction, whether it's residential, it's commercial. And the thing about title insurance, there are two kinds. There's lender's title insurance and owner's title insurance. So anytime you're doing a transaction where there is a lender involved, they are going to require title insurance. If you're purchasing property, you as the buyer have the option to get owner's title insurance. And owner's title insurance is what protects you as the buyer or your company, an LLC, in the event you have any kind of defect in the chain of title. And it's good the entire time you own your property, and it gives you peace of mind. It's a one-time premium, and it covers so many different things. Things where if there is a gap in a legal description that is missed, if there are missing heirs in the chain of title, somebody passed away, and when they were doing the estate probate, they forgot about, cousin Vinny, and then cousin Vinny comes back later and it's like, oh, well, I want my money for my share of the property. So, and you're like, who are you? And, first thing you do is you call your title company that you did the closing with. They pull the file. Yep, you have title insurance. And then the title insurance company, in this case, Chicago Title, would then go ahead and deal with the claim against your property that you paid for. And they would defend you in court if necessary. Or, work out a deal with cousin Vinny to get him to sign whatever he needed to sign to release his interest, so that you have title free and clear. It also covers like unreleased mortgages. Sometimes banks, get bought by another company, so they may not follow up on a lien release, getting it recorded. Sometimes the clerk's office makes a mistake and doesn't correctly index all the parties in a transaction, so you can have documents that are not showing up to show that a mortgage is paid off. So it just, and it also can cover some things post-closing as well. So, and I have some information that if people are interested in it, that I can go ahead and email out to them after the happy hour, or, at your convenience, that could talk a little in more detail about situations like that.
Nice. And by the way, My Cousin Vinny, the movie, great movie. Right when you said that, I haven't seen that. I think I want to watch it now. So I think I'm gonna have to go find that on Netflix or wherever it is on and watch it.
That is awesome. Well, thank you for that information. So let me ask this. Let's talk about. So just a question. Let's say I get title. Well, I get title insurance. We require title insurance, but let's say I get the title insurance, and then next thing you know, my title company, they made a mistake. I'm just trying to piggyback what you said. So they made a mistake, and something happens in the future. Maybe something didn't get recorded, or something goes wrong in the future. So is that what you mean by the coverage? And correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes title stuff confuses me a little bit.
Right. That would also, the title policy for the lender would also protect Campos Capital Group and its investors. If there was some issue and, somebody did a closing and, somehow there was a mistake, or if the title abstractor that's doing the title search, because normally the title search is going to be done, subcontracted out to a title examiner as opposed to being done in-house. I mean, that's the ideal way because you have to have a really strong team of people that you work with. And if the title examiner is maybe new, not familiar with a particular jurisdiction, and they miss something and then the title company doesn't realize it, or if the title company makes a mistake, it could be covered by the title insurance depending on what the mistake or the issue is.
Got it. Awesome. So, and sorry, Ken, I don't know. I keep asking. I'm too excited. I like to ask these questions. You know, I like to learn.
Make my job easier.
No, but let's talk about some of the common issues you've encountered in title that you can just name at the top of your head.
Unreleased mortgages. Somebody pays off a loan. Sometimes it's with a bank that gets taken over, like various companies that Bank of America took over, maybe didn't have a lien release signed. Missing errors in the chain of title. If there is a deed that's not recorded, or if a deed was incorrectly prepared, it was the person signing in the wrong capacity, or let's see, I had a foreclosure transaction. Somebody was buying a foreclosed property, and when we got the title search in, I contacted the foreclosure attorney's office and said, hey, it looks like there's an issue with title. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And when I had gotten the deed, it was like an Bank of America, like asset management company. It was like some pooling agreement. It was like one of those collateralized pools of loans, and whatever that entity was, it was supposed to be entitled. The foreclosure attorney's office put completely the wrong, like, pooling entity on title. So it was a complete failure of title. So we had to work with the foreclosure attorney's office to get that fixed before we could actually close. And we didn't really have much time because there's a foreclosure and close within a time period.
Wow.
So I've had that, and I've also had a bankruptcy issue. I had a client that I worked with, and he wanted me to handle his closing. He was selling property. He was going through Chapter 11 business bankruptcy, and the buyer's agent was insistent that he use the company that he always worked with. Well, 3 days before closing, the buyer's title company said they couldn't do the closing. I was like, well, why not?
Oh, wow.
And they said that they had to wait 3 weeks. They needed 21 days from the date the bankruptcy court entered the order confirming the sale of the property. And I knew that was not going to be a requirement of my underwriter. I talked to my underwriting counsel, explained the situation, said everyone was in agreement. By everyone, the trustee of the bankruptcy court, the borrower, and various creditors, that the property could be sold so that the repayment under the bankruptcy could be done. And I got the approval, and we closed in 3 days.
Wow.
Wow, look at you. This is
Very
what I'm
nice.
talking about. That's experience talking right there. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to drink to experience. There you go. 25 years of experience. That's awesome.
Very good.
Now you guys know.
Yes, thank you. And I've also dealt with Baltimore City with ground rent redemption, which is like a totally different, it's like you're working on a totally different planet in Baltimore City.
Yes. Yes,
So
we got a lot of those.
Been able to get that done like relatively quickly as well.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about that because I know when I was talking to my operating manager, she mentioned, that she's noticed in the past some title companies, they'll say, well, the county's taking 3 months, but then she's noticed that in other title companies, they do it a little quicker. So normally, what's been the turnaround that you've seen with those ground rents?
In Baltimore City, it kind of depends on how quickly they get everything processed. So on those particular cases, when you're doing anything in Baltimore City, you have to have a lien certificate. And if you don't have a lien certificate, that could cause a huge delay. Without that, the lien certificate confirms that the taxes are current. There's no unpaid water bill, which is a big thing in Baltimore. There's no violations. You can get cited for trash. You can get cited for grass cutting. I even had a porch violation one time.
Wow.
So in addition to like the issue with the ground rent, being on like a separate chain of title where you have to like merge it with the to create the fee simple. There are all those other issues. But in terms of reporting, I would say, it's improved a lot, but they're probably running, a couple of weeks turnaround time. You might be able to get it done quicker. It just kind of depends on how like overwhelmed or overworked the transfer office is, and then the clerk's office. Usually it's the transfer office that's the big holdup because they have to sign off on everything.
Nice.
Wow. That's interesting. I know we were talking about ground rent. Thank you for all that explanation and those examples. You don't think about that. What is ground rent for those people that don't know what that is? Can you explain a basic definition of ground rent?
Right. Ground rent is where, even though you have a house on a piece of property, you don't own the ground underneath it. And you pay a rent to whoever the owner of the ground rent is. Right. So ideally, you'd want to own the land.
Yes.
I have seen situations where people, just continue to pay the ground rent, and then basically they have like a leasehold interest for the house. But normally, if you're doing a loan, the lender is going to want to require the owner actually have purchased the ground rent, and that can be sometimes difficult to do.
Wow. Very, very good. Very good. And I've noticed, mostly, have you noticed it in Ken? I don't know. And Sean, feel free to chime in. It's usually in Baltimore, right? That's where I've noticed in Maryland with my loan.
Yeah, it's unique to Baltimore City. Yeah. As to why, it was just the way it was historically done. I know that they have it in like New York City as well.
Yep.
I think
this area.
I think the Empire.
It's kind of like co-ops. Like you don't really hear about co-ops, but in Northern Virginia, in Roslyn, you have River Place Co-op, where that's kind of a similar situation to a ground rent, where when you buy one of those co-op units, you have a leasehold interest, but you get stock certificate that says you own an interest in the River Place Housing Corporation that owns the land underneath the complex. So, you're still buying a leasehold interest. So ground rent is kind of the same, but, except you may not be able to actually acquire the land underneath your property.
Got it.
Right.
Because, people don't like to, sell it or give it up.
I was going to say, I think the Empire State Building is actually on a 99-year ground lease. I think it's one of the famous ground leases.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not 90% sure.
I think you're right on that.
Look at Ken's face. He's like, huh? What?
That's a fun
That's
fact.
a nice little just in case you didn't know, or wow.
Yeah, it's a little weird, to like comprehend, but it's just, I don't know, it's just the way Baltimore City has always done it. If you're in Baltimore County, that's totally different.
Got it.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So I have a question. We're gonna change it up a little bit. Here. Can you talk about a little bit what is the 1031 exchange?
Oh, yes, of course. So 1031 exchanges are a great tool if you are a real estate investor, you've got investment property, you have had it for a while, your property value has appreciated, and you're deciding you're going to sell it and you want to take advantage of that, appreciated property value. Maybe you want to try something different. You want to get a bigger, maybe you want to do a strip shopping center, or you want to do a multifamily apartment complex. You have a rental house or rental houses. So with a 1031 exchange, the properties that you own that you're going to sell are going to be the relinquished properties, and you would have a plan in mind. You have to have a qualified intermediary to act as the exchange agent. You have to have that paperwork in place on or before you actually sell your property. And what happens is, once you sell, the proceeds from that are basically held in escrow, transferred to the 1031 exchange intermediary, the qualified intermediary, and you don't receive any money at closing. It goes into the qualified intermediary's account, and then you have 45 days to designate a replacement property or properties, and you have 180 days to close. And what the whole purpose of it is that you roll over all of the funds that you're getting from closing, so that you are deferring any tax on the gain on the sale of those properties or property.
Got it.
Great info. Great info. Yeah, we're constantly getting asked that. So great info. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and the fee on it, typically ranges from $750 to maybe $1,000 or $1,500, depending on if you have one or more properties. I mean, you can take cash out at the sale of your replacement property, but you have to pay tax on that, and that would be huge.
Wow.
And I mean, ideally, the best way to do it is to do it where you're selling and then designate it the replacement property. There is a reverse exchange, but that gets kind of complicated. And if anyone is interested in that, they should follow up after the happy hour session.
Sounds good. Is that something that they could give you a call about?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. We posted your information on the chat. I wanted to ask Teresa, just going back really quick to some of the issues you've encountered when you're having title error issues, missing deeds or unrecorded deeds. One of the missing errors, whatever stuff like that. Is it easy to fix? I mean, let's say my closing next Friday, August 4th, which I have a couple. My closing is next Friday, August 4th. Do you, and that comes up, is that something that's easy to fix, or sometimes it will depend?
It depends on the specifics. So I had a closing about 3 or 4 months ago. The buyer was purchasing property from the seller who was almost 102. He was going to turn 102 any day. And
Your buyer?
her niece was helping her with selling her property, and we had a power of attorney, which we actually used for the closing because her aunt had some mobility issues. And I was actually able to get approval on the power of attorney, which was 14 years old, to use that, and I verified that she was alive and well. But when I had gotten the title search in, and I didn't have much time to close it because they were very anxious because she needed the money for 24-hour care and wanted to close right away. And then I was also concerned because if something happened to her, then the power of attorney would not be valid if she passed away.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So when I got the title search in, there was, back in the chain in the 1940s, one of the heirs of someone that passed away was not mentioned in the deed. There is no recitation what happened to this person. So then I had to talk with the niece of the seller, and I explained the problem, and then we were able to go onto one of the genealogy websites like Ancestry.com and
Hold on, Ken. I'm sorry, Teresa. Ken, can you mute yourself so I can hear your background? Is that you?
Is it me?
I'm sorry.
Yes. I'm sorry, Teresa. I couldn't hear you. Ken, mute yourself while she's talking.
Just the last part of it, or the entire thing?
No, just the last part. I apologize. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
So after I had looked at the title, I realized that there was a missing. There was a gap in the chain of title. One of the individuals that had an interest in the property, because it was an estate back in the 1940s, it was actually I think it was the half sister of the 102-year-old lady that was selling. She was not mentioned in the next deed in the chain. So we figured out they thought that she had died, but wasn't sure when or where. And so we were able to go onto one of the genealogy websites, I think it was Ancestry.com, and confirm that she in fact had passed away. So when we did a recitation that covered that. So if anybody else was looking to acquire the property after my buyer, then it would be a non-issue.
Wow, amazing. Oh, wow.
So that one was easy to fix. But, if you have, somebody, it kind of depends. If you make enough calls and ask enough questions, probably 98% of the time, if you're working with my office, you can still close on time. Every once in a while we have something really weird where probate needs to be done. But I had that case, and that was able to be taken care of pretty quickly.
Awesome.
Very nice.
That's a great success story. I mean, thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah, not a problem. And everyone was ecstatic. So.
I bet.
It was very stressful for me because I was worried that the power of attorney's aunt was, being 102. You just don't know. And I did not want to have to deal with an estate issue, which would then, delay everything.
Right. Wow. Well, one of the questions I had for you was what sets you apart from other title companies? But I mean, with your examples that you've given me, well, not me, just, the three of us here, it's amazing. That right there speaks for itself. So, congratulations. And like I said, anyone that's watching that's from the Nova area. And Teresa, didn't you mention to me that you can do Delaware?
Yes, I can do title insurance in Delaware. That's correct.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Okay, so definitely keep that in mind. So my Delaware folks,
Yeah,
Very
talk to
nice.
Teresa.
offices that I can partner with over there. But yes, I've done a couple of Delaware vacation purchases and a primary residence.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, she goes above and beyond. I was trying to talk to Teresa earlier today to just do give her the idea what the live stream was going to be like today, and she was on the phone with the minion for an hour and 40 minutes, because of what was it, a electrical pole, Teresa? What was the
right? Yeah, no, electrical pole. Because that's correct. That they're trying to get moved for like 2 years, so that this builder who is doing a 4-townhome project can actually have electricity to put the wood floors in to put them on the market.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Impressive.
So I said, oh sure, I'll call.
The
Hours
patience you have. That right there is enough to anyone that needs a title company. That right there is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else will do it.
Person. So you can ask me next week if the poll is moved or not. So.
There you go. Well, yeah, we'll do a follow up on the live. If everyone that's listening, I'll have an update on the poll.
On the poll, yeah, we really need to hear that story. Teresa, I got a question. One of the things that we see a lot here is, and I just want to double check. So we have, as you know, all of our loans are for, they're to an entity, either an LLC or corporation, whatever it may be. Sometimes with an LLC, for instance, we'll have, our primary guarantor, which is, he's the one that, has the most membership. And then we have our minority members. So my question is, do you require all the signers to be there? Or as long as you get a board resolution, you're good to go?
As long as I have a board resolution that is supported by the current operating agreement. So if the current operating agreement for the LLC allows, only, the managing member to sign, there's a resolution that says that the managing member hasn't resigned, hasn't been replaced, and is empowered to do this and references the operating agreement, then that's good. But if there's,
awesome.
Something where, one of the other members is required to sign, and they can't agree on it, then I would need them to either be at closing or to make arrangements to sign whatever documents are required, separately, in advance or after the other designated person signs. So, it kind of depends. If they're going to be like a signer on the deed of trust and the note, it's easier for the second person to actually be at the closing at the same time. But I try to accommodate.
Nice. And also, what do you do as far as, I have a lot of clients actually personally from the area, Jersey and New York, that are investing in the Eastern Shore of Maryland. By the way, that's a hot market. Everybody's going over there. I've noticed that, especially from up north, some of my investors. A lot of them, they plan on coming, but there's something comes up. Would you be able to do remote notaries? Are you allowed?
Yes. Yeah, I can coordinate that. And depending on like where they are, like in the past, if I've had people that, were on a work trip and they were, in a different state, what I've done is located a Chicago Title or Fidelity National Title office that's in their area, and then made arrangements for them to go sign there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I find that works better because then that's what they do. So that way I don't have any missed signatures. If things need to be initialed, or if there's a problem, then they can handle it and get in touch with me. So I've done that in the situations where somebody from my office can't actually be there to do the closing.
Got it.
Perfect. And one last thing, it doesn't matter if you can, but do you or any in your team speak Spanish?
Spanish, no.
It's okay. Normally,
a few words that
no worries. Normally, I normally try to either if they're there, give me a call. If not, I usually go over the HUD with them in complete and utter detail prior to closing. So yeah, all right. So if Teresa, our next closing, if you need me to be on, on speakerphone, then I'll be there if you need some translation.
Great.
So there's no worries. Most title companies, well, there's a lot of our title companies. I won't say most. A lot of them, they don't have Spanish speakers, but I just wanted to ask just in case.
That's important to ask. But I've done that before. I've worked with Spanish speaking realtors before, and they've come to closing and basically translated everything. Even though the client, their preference was like Spanish instead of English, and then I'm able to coordinate that.
Got it.
Perfect. Nice. Well, Ken, do you have any other questions?
No, I think we got through what we needed to get through for today. And Teresa, I want to thank you for coming on, and Shane, thank you for being the savior.
I'm sorry. I keep calling you Sean. Shane, I apologize.
No,
I'm sorry.
Ken's wrong. You're right. It's Sean.
Ken's wrong. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, if I get called, it's Sean.
Teresa, I told you I'm terrible with names. See, I can't even do the simple ones.
Well,
we're going back to Virginia soon because we got to go to a wedding.
All right.
I want to see you. We're going to lunch. Me, you, Teresa, and Ken. We got to do this.
We'd love to do that.
Yeah, but
I appreciate being on, and you guys are great. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
Everyone enjoy.
I do want to tell the audience one of the reasons Teresa we couldn't see her today. She was having technical difficulties. That's another reason we started late. So our apologies to everyone. We promise next Friday we'll do better. So my apologies, and I know Ken feels the same way. So this doesn't happen all the time, but from time to time, as you know, things happen. So thank you for those that are watching. And Ken, do you want to just go really quick to the people that said hi to us on the chat?
Yeah. So we have Catalina says cheers. We have who do we have? We have Juliet says happy Friday, and then I don't know that doesn't give me a name, but it says hi guys.
That's probably because we're on YouTube.
Yeah, there's paired ones where we don't give people's names, but it says, hey guys, nice to see you here. And it's going to be better in Raleigh. Thank you for the information and education. We have someone that says hello. Hey guys from New Jersey. We have great info. Thank you. And we have a Nelson saying, I speak Spanish.
Nelson,
where are you
don't
guys
worry.
located? And then Nelson says, where are you guys located? So if you're asking about Teresa and where her title company is, she's in the greater Washington area, so Virginia, Maryland, DC. For Campos Capital Group, we have plenty of offices. We have a Maryland office, a Charlotte office, Atlanta office, Houston office, but we do lend nationwide. So it doesn't have to be where we have an office. We can help anybody in the country in any state, as long as it's not rural. We do not do rural properties, but other than that, we can do it. So we
do have programs, but I don't recommend them.
Yeah, exactly.
We are very transparent. I personally wouldn't do it, but no rural. Just try to stay away from rural. But if you really have a need, we'll take care of you.
And then everybody. Teresa's information is on the chat, so you'll get the company name, address, her phone number is on there.
Let's double check, Teresa. The number that they put on the chat here for you, 703-519-7280. Is that the office number?
Right, that's correct. That's the office number.
All right, awesome, awesome. We're gonna put in your also your email as well
Right.
on
And if
that.
it's like something that's like really urgent, somebody needs to reach me right away. They can feel free to reach out to me on my cell phone, which is 703-898-3536.
Got it. Okay, we'll make sure that gets put on there as well. Thank you again. Thank you, Sean, for being here. You
Thank you,
are a
Sean.
blessing. You're like an angel. All of a sudden,
Glad to
you
help.
came here like a hero. You know, it's amazing. I'm so excited. I would definitely like to have you on here. Well, this is Ken's event, but I'm sure you will. And you know, we as we're partnering up, I would love to hear what you have to offer. And also, you have you said you were a commercial lender as well for many years.
Correct.
That part, the difference from your transition, which I would like to, I know a lot of our listeners, because as you know, we're doing investment loans for LLCs and entities, and I know when they go to the traditional bank, there's a lot of more documents, and the process takes longer. I think
Closing
it'll
takes
be
longer.
great.
Yep.
Definitely.
I think it'll be great for you to describe the differences. I come from traditional banking. I didn't do commercial, but I think it's when they tell me like, well, what's the difference and stuff like that, because I didn't do commercial lending, but I was, you know, I have a lot of I had a lot of colleagues in that field. I explain what I know, but I think it'll be such a good thing for you to explain what you've seen and how now in the field that you're in, the you know, being a broker, you can explain like what is the difference and you know the benefits and you know the pros and the cons as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be happy to do that.
So
Great.
so definitely, I think that's important because a lot of people, they don't realize, they are thinking, I'm going to go to I'm going to go to Wells Fargo, whatever it may be, but then they're stuck in there and they need a closing in it. I know. Well, I remember, I don't know, Ken, there are times that some of those deals did not close. And Sean, you can probably say the same thing. It'll be 6 months. It's crazy.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Yep.
People need to know the benefits of that. Not that we're talking bad about traditional commercial banks, but it may not be good for them because of their certain needs, whether they need to close at a certain time or the leverage, whatever it may be.
Yep.
So I think it'll be awesome. So those that are watching, please know that we're going to have our professional here soon. Sean, I think it'll be great for you to tell us about what you do. Definitely talk about your business and where you come from in the pros and the cons.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Teresa, thanks for being a guest. Sean, thanks for being the savior. And
Savior.
and everyone have a good weekend. And we are out.